Hey everyone, I'm Mark Sievers. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it is Friday night and we are talking about Pantry 101 storage and freezer storage. And now we're going to talk about my refrigerator and kind of what I have in it, why I have those things, and hopefully give you some ideas on your own refrigerator organization and hopefully get you back into your kitchen, get reacquainted with maybe your pots and pans or your stovetop, and whip up some inspired meals over the next couple of weeks as we're all just kind of spending a lot of time at home. So I think this is the perfect time for you to re-fall in love with your kitchen. So come into my kitchen and let me show you exactly what I have going on in my refrigerator. Come on, Ryan. Don't lag behind. He's gonna kill me. So the last two videos I've done tonight, the first one was about my pantry, dry storage, sweet baking center. Second video was all about my freezer. A lot of you, I got comments in down below and on Instagram and a few emails that you guys really loved kind of all the organizational tips I was giving you. So that makes me happy because I am living and breathing what I preach. So I think that's really important. So come take a peek at my refrigerator. So I'm going to get down on the ground here because I think that's going to be the best way for you to see what I have going on. So my refrigerator, kind of like my freezer, is a little bit more full than normal. And I did this again because my state, I live in Illinois, in Chicago, and we are, as of now, on lockdown. So for the next 2 weeks, we have to shelter in place. And I thought it's really important to go out, get the things that I need, get ingredients that I know how to cook with. I'm not just willy-nilly buying things off the shelf. I'm getting things that I know how to cook with, that I typically have on hand for recipe testing. And I'm going to show you what I have brought home today and some tricks on my storage. So let's start with my crisper drawers because this is a standard way I store things. So I actually don't store any vegetables and things in crisper drawers. My crisper drawers, a majority of this one is preserves and things like that. I just really think this is easy. I draw on the top of the container, like this is strawberry preserves from Bon Maman. I have fig and blueberry, all these different flavors from Bon Maman. They're my favorite preserves. And I like drawing the name on the top of the lid because it's easy for me to see what I have. And when I'm making a grocery list and I see I don't have, maybe raspberry is my favorite one of all time. If I don't see the word raspberry, I know that I'm out. So that's a great little tip for now and for all the time. For bread in my other crisper drawer, I have some Grand's Pillsbury buttermilk biscuits. These are for a recipe coming up on Sunday. So if you are in your grocery store on the next day or so, grab a couple of cans of these because I have some really good ideas for you. I also store bread in the fridge, you know, because I think it just helps it last a little bit longer. And speaking of a little bit longer, I normally store all of my citrus usually in big bowls on the kitchen island. But for now, because I'm trying to shelter in place and not leave the house so often, I'm keeping all of my citrus in the refrigerator, in these refrigerator bins. I do, when I am going to go use a lemon or a lime or an orange, I am going to take it out of the refrigerator and let it come to room temperature. That's really important. And then I have, of course, fresh herbs. So I've been monitoring my fresh herbs. I have some thyme, some chives, and some dill. If I see these start to get a little bit brown, I will chop them up and put them into ice cube trays with either a little bit of water or some olive oil and put them in the freezer. That will allow me to have these herbs kind of on hand. But for now, they're nice and fresh, and I'm just gonna watch them as we go. Same thing for avocados. So my avocados are right here. I'm keeping these in the refrigerator as well to kind of help them just last a little bit longer than normal. And avocado on Sunday for one of the recipes I'm going to share with you. So I took one out of the fridge already. Same thing goes with like these delicious green onions and carrots. I just have them in really nice sealed bags. And then I know I usually say I store all of my eggs at room temperature, and I still have eggs at room temperature. But I did pick up a couple dozen eggs today. These are extra large eggs. That's what I use, extra large eggs. And I'm keeping these in the refrigerator because I don't know how often I'm going to use eggs in the next few weeks. But I want to make sure that I can make Ryan a French omelet when he wants one. So I can take out a couple of eggs the night before, let them sit at room temperature overnight. I am going to practice, though, and I'm going to actually do it live. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, but later on in the coming weeks, I am going to make some pâte à choux. I was inspired by one of the Instagram accounts I follow on Instagram. He was making chouquettes, which are these little delicious little like cream puff batter, like pâte à choux, and then the outside is covered with pearl sugar. So he inspired me to make them. I will link him on, you can find him in my stories actually on Instagram right now or in like 10 minutes. I'll put him up there because I think he's really cool. I've never met him. He lives in Paris, but I am obsessed with everything that he makes. So I also have eggs on hand for that. So, okay. Long story short. I have here, pretty much everything in these bins. I have tofu, extra butter. I have some risotto, some arborio rice. Then here, this looks a little scary, but this is actually a new recipe that I'm coming out with next weekend. And they are delicious marinated white beans, and they're going to be perfect for sheltering in place because I can store them in the refrigerator once they're marinated, and I can scoop out the portion that I need, let them come to room temperature, put them onto salads, reheat them a little bit, maybe put them onto some of that focaccia that I showed you was in my freezer. So I love that. And then, and I noticed, like my pantry, like my freezer, I have everything kind of organized like-minded things. So this is a cheese drawer. So I also have Bon Maman in here. But these are spreads. These are what we use on cheeses. So putting those in the preserve drawer, I keep this little drawer for our cheeses and things like that. And, if I notice that maybe I bought this a couple days ago, if I'm not going to get to this big wedge of Gouda, I will probably take it out of its wrapping, rewrap it in plastic, and put it into a freezer Ziploc bag, put that into the freezer. Again, I don't normally do things like that, but I'm also wanting to make sure that my investment in groceries lasts as long as I can right now because of the shelter in place. So little tips like that I think are really good for all of us right now. Again, I have some yogurt, chia seeds. That's my breakfast normally with a little bit of crushed dehydrated raspberries. And I have like extra hummus and vinegary things like cornichon and some roasted red peppers and my kind of like mustardy bin here. Just really things that, mustard lasts forever, it seems like in the fridge. And then, over here, my little refrigerator door. So I have a little bit more dairy than I usually keep in my refrigerator. But I am going to be doing some recipe testing. So I have a few extra things that I normally don't have. Like I really don't keep whole milk in my refrigerator. But I am going to be recipe testing those chouquettes that I just mentioned. So I'm excited for that. All kinds of butter. Some of my curried ketchup. You can get this recipe on my website, marksievers.com. And then, of course, some wines. We probably shouldn't show the brands. except for Taittinger, official my official champagne sponsor of my French omelette book tour. So Taittinger, thank you. As well as Miraval, they did wonderful events for me in Chicago and in the Hamptons. So thank you, Miraval. It's this is now the time to show my gratitude more than ever for everybody that has supported me. So thank you. And then just you know, regular basic condiments. Blue cheese dressing I always have on hand. I make my own most of the time. I love a good chunky blue cheese dressing. I love chili sauce and I love cocktail sauce. So just things. Oh, and if you're in the grocery store, pick up some balsamic glaze. This is a great product. It's this balsamic. It's really just a balsamic reduction, but I'll show it to you. It's really, really thick. It's sweet. It's balsamic-y. And it's really delicious for drizzling on some arugula, putting onto some cheese, maybe putting on to finish some pasta. So things like that. It's a really good condiment to have in the refrigerator. You can make it yourself, but why would you want to? So that is the refrigerator. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but again, it's all about like-minded things living in the same areas in the refrigerator, just like my freezer and just like I showed you when I'm in my pantry. So these videos are meant to help you kind of get some ideas on what you can do in the next coming weeks of how to kind of prepare yourself for sheltering in place and making sure that people that, you know, do have to go out into the world every day, those essential businesses, that they also have the opportunity to do their grocery shopping. So again, this isn't about, you know, hoarding and stockpiling. For me, and I hope for you, it's about, you know, getting things that are interchangeable, getting things that are flexible, and making sure that when you're at the grocery store, like I said earlier, instead of buying loaves of bread, if you know how to make bread yourself. Leave those loaves of bread on the shelf for somebody who either doesn't have time to make bread or doesn't know how to make bread, or maybe the idea of even thinking about the thought of making bread isn't even something in their repertoire. So do your part. We all have to work together in this, and join me tomorrow. So if you have children, I know this is a little different for me, but tomorrow, Saturday, starting at 12 noon Eastern Time, and throughout the day, I'm going to do a kids corner. Ideas and memories that I remember as a kid, growing up, in school, and a couple new things that I'm just gonna kind of give my take on what you stay-at-home parents can do to entertain your kids. You also get to eat some of the things that I'm gonna show you tomorrow, so it's a win-win. And I think it's a perfect excuse to play with junk food. So I'm really excited about that. Join me on Sunday for Corner Store Recipes. This is gonna be really fun. So I shopped my corner store, mine is Walgreens, and I came up with 4 recipes for you using items specifically from Walgreens. So you can use your drugstore, your bodega, your little mom and pop shop. These are ingredients that can readily available, hopefully in your own little neighborhood grocer or at the convenience store even. And then all next week, every day, I'm gonna have a live cooking video for you that is gonna take you through everyday basics. And I think this is gonna be a great opportunity for us to spend a lot of time together virtually. This is like really social distancing. We are really far apart. But I'm gonna bring you into my world and into my home, and I appreciate that you are bringing me into your home. So until tomorrow, see you at noontime. That's it for tonight. Happy Friday, everybody. I know this week was probably you know, hell for some people. But I'm glad we're all together and we are hopefully all staying safe, social distance, and shelter in place if that is, you know, part of your state's new vocabulary. So until next time, see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hi, Regina.
And Ruby
Oh.
loves to bake. Says hello.
Oh, Ruby loves to bake. Hi, Ruby. Ruby, what do you love to bake? Is there anything specific if you're still watching? So let me know in the comments and we'll see what happens. Good night.